focus, drives you. It shows you an agenda.
That's right.
Awesome! Mama Helen and You with Dr. Helen Orish-Jaffor, showing every day at 8:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. West African time on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN.
Welcome to the very first edition of Arise Africa for the year 2022. I can't believe I'm in 2022. Okay, I believe I'm in 2022. Of course, I am Chichi Mwabo, and with me is
Boye Torishek Bogwa Bark Anthony.
Is that the new 2022
Yeah,
levels?
I'm adding. You know, you guys always tell me Bogwa. So now I'm telling the whole world Bogwa. Just for a while.
Absolutely. So how are you?
Great. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
Happy New Year to all our
same.
viewers as well. Great to be with you guys today. Today is going to be a great time, honestly. And Chichi as usual, looking all glowing.
Thank you. You don't look bad either. So of course, we've come in a new way, in a spectacular manner, like you can't see wherever you are, right? We're actually pretty excited that you are where you are. By the grace of God, we are where we are, and we believe this new year is going to bring a lot of great things. And we, of course, a lot of information and entertainment, and lots more, having our discussions in our chat. So we'll go straight to newspaper review.
Yes.
That's what we're beginning with, as usual.
Yes. And today we'll just do today's newspaper. Today's newspaper, Sunday Punch. No, not today, not Sunday. I was supposed to run through the whole week, but we'll move to today's Friday.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're definitely going to start from the beginning of the week, which is Sunday, aren't we?
Okay.
Okay, so Sunday Punch has a very interesting story right there. The major header says, ASU dismisses federal government's 52.5 billion naira, says strike likely soon. Wow. It says no justification for lecturers to abandon classrooms, and that's according to the federal government. Educationalists urge government union to act in students' interests, and that story is on page 3 of the Sunday Punch. And it got interesting. Kidnapped 21 Zamfara students rescued. Abductors hold teacher. The story, it's right there. You can see it on page 34, I believe. It's got to be bolder so I can see it clearly. Yes, and that story is on Sunday Punch, a newspaper. We don't like to hear that. We don't like to hear of kidnapping of students. But, well, we urge the government to take more safety precautions and to make more ways for this students to be protected in our schools. We don't want our children to go to school and not come back. All right, so we've got Edo, Ondo, Taraba most affected as Lassa fever deaths hit 99 cases now, 4,482. That's down below on the Sunday Punch. Talking about Lassa fever, really terrible disease or illness. It's not really funny at all. So powerful forces imposed Ganduje on Kano in 2019, says Kwakwanso. That story is on page 124, 12 and 14 rather. I've got to wear glasses. I've got to go get my glasses. Okay, so, well, that's politics for you. That's how it is. That's how it works. And we've got to move on to the next newspapers, and that is the Guardian newspapers. And talking about the Guardian, the major header says 1 year after AFCFTA still in limbo. Many countries yet to develop implementation strategy. Sensitive products may come under liberalized list as timeline passes. That story is on page 1 of The Guardian and continues on page 2. And we're moving on now. Down below, a sad story. Naira drops to record low amid New Year uncertainties. And that's the story on page 2. We don't want the Naira to drop. I think I saw this a few days ago when it was most prominent that the Naira had dropped, and it's been predicted it's going to drop even further this year. But we hope it's not going to be so. But of course, that's economy. A lot of intervening forces would play. So that's why I think government has to beef up, all it has to make sure the Naira becomes stronger. Buhari, Tinubu, Oni, Makinde, others Mon Olubadan. Yes, and that story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. And this goes justify estimated billings of consumers, revenue targets, and the stories in page 4 of the Guardian. And Imo now war zone, says monarchs, clerics, page 28. And you've lost grip on good governance, Anglican cleric tells Buhari. That story is on page 3 of same newspaper. And we're moving on to the next newspaper. That's for Tuesday, and we have the Nigerian Tribune. Nigerian Tribune says governors to watch in 2022. The story is on page 28, 29, and you can see pictures of several governors of the different states in Nigeria. I can see the governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, right there, the one on the red cap. ABN happens to be situated in Delta State, so yes, and that is the governor of Delta State. And I can see all the governors. I can see Saolu, the governor of Lagos State as well, right at the middle on the first row of the pictures. Pretty interesting. And Ganduje, of course. Well, if it's not there, who else will be there? Okay, so and El Rufai, it's also there, and that's the governor of Kaduna State. So, and that's pretty interesting. And we got APC Convention Governors Forum, DG Falls, Kalu's calls for postponement, cautions Boni's committee, says it's a plot to destabilize party. The story is on page 23. And we've got down below, we've got Ibadan. High Chiefs meet Lekan Balogun, endorse him as next Olubadan. More tributes for late Oba Adetunji. Withhold approval of any High Chief to become Olubadan. Exoyo AG writes Makinde. Stories on page 2 and page 3. And this is a sad story. Prior to be kidnapped, asked to wedding in Plateau State. Page 26. I don't like that kind of story. It's so painful.
It's a sad one.
It's a very sad one.
It's a sad one, and hopefully we pray that she's recovered.
We hope so. We hope to get.
All right, we move over to this day newspaper for Wednesday. Wednesday or Thursday now? It's Wednesday. All right, and it says in major test of governors' powers as chief security officers, police defy orders from Sanwo-Olu, claim they were acting on instructions from higher authorities. Lagos governor stands his ground, prevails,
invites parties,
to a meeting
we saw the video trending on social media.
Yeah,
it's been all over the place, and there have been a lot of comments from different directions.
When it comes to the country, We bless God. Let me use that word. And then up there, you say Nigeria to lose over $1 billion to underproduction as OPEC raises oil quota. That's. I don't think that's a good one. It's not a good one at all. Producers cartel agrees to pump 400,000 additional barrels in February. Oil prices hit $80 per barrel. And then Emefiele, extensive structural reform needed to accelerate economic growth. Petrol subsidy unsustainable. MPC members tells FG. Now, this is one funny statement that we have heard over and over again, especially when it comes to this petroleum subsidy. You know, when the former guys were in government and in power, they said it and we all revolted. And these same persons now said there's no way it's not supposed to work, and now they are complaining about it too now. And then it says 18 months after taking office, Buhari appoints Salami chief economic advisor. All right, I think that's all we can take for this day, for Wednesday. All right, let's move over to...
We've got Daily Sun newspapers for Thursday, and it says Buhari rejects state police, says no political solution for Nnamdi Kanu. President's utterances show he's comfortable with killings in the land. That's PDP. The story is on page 6. And government vows to use maximum force to quell attempted jailbreaks invasion. The story is on 27. And the Magodo story continues. The Magodo saga, whatever you call it. Southwest governors, federal government on collision course, asks Sanwo-Olu to deploy Amotekun corps to disputed area. I think that's all we'll take for this. Anyway, this is the story of Oromoni. Lagos clears 5 Doan College students, staff. DPP orders release of suspects. Stories on page 4, and that's it.
And you know, some persons too are coming. I think the IYC is coming to actually still go against the fact that these children are cleared. The Wayne College should be closed down and all that. A lot of persons are still
agitating. They say there are 2 contradictory autopsy reports. The one is from Lagos that says it's sepsis, and the one in Delta, that was the one in Delta State, that said something about chemical, and then says something about force being, I don't know the exact detail, but the family is saying, no, that cannot be right.
Exactly.
We're
a lot of agitations are still going up.
People are still thinking there has to be more to this. I mean, having seen the story, you saw the video. I watched the video. It was really bad. It was bad. It was terrible. It was heart-rending.
Let's move over to today's newspaper. Today, we begin with Friday Punch newspaper for today. And you know, today is Friday, and you know, a lot of things. I think one major head out there in the papers is the fact that this is what I wanted to talk about. Super Tucano deployment. NAF plans bandits bombardment, allays fear over civilian casualties. US wants FG military to target forest bandits camps, not civilian areas. Usage must conform with international norms, US tells FG. Now, this is actually a very strong issue, because now they want to fight the bandits, and now US is trying to say, okay, you have to go about it rightly, you have to be calm. But when these guys were killing people, nobody's talking anything about it.
But there has to be procedure, otherwise they're going to even hurt innocent people as well. You know how it is in Nigeria.
We heard of the fact that there were some places that were attacked. I can't remember, I think it's Zamfara and all. The attackers were using people of the community, civilians, as shield, you know, that kind of thing, and it's crazy.
So I can understand. It's just to protect innocent civilians.
Yeah, because they end up being the
casualties and victims
a lot of the time.
Okay, so we're moving on now to the next paper,
Next
And
paper.
right after the Punch newspaper, we're moving on to the
Guardian,
Guardian, and it says 10 years after Occupy Nigeria, Buhari battles fuel subsidy. Same issue, round and round. Same issue they occupied Nigeria for.
Yeah.
Federal government plans subsidy for transport workers. Oshibajo to meet NLC on palliative, says finance minister. Expensive lifestyle of government doesn't support subsidy removal. Afenifere, UPU, YCE, ACF, others decry planned removal, says it's move to kill masses. I saw a report where the finance minister was saying that one of the ways, more like a palliative, something toward, do I say something to handle the, they were talking about the increase in fuel that was imminent, like what they were planning and all that. And they were saying that they're going to give it 5,000 naira to ordinary Nigerians. This is a story I read to cushion, that's the word, cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy that will be removed and all that.
Remember that in Goodluck Jonathan's time, when they removed subsidy, then someone said they were coming with Shopee. Remember, the money they were going to take out of the subsidy, they were going to use to help give people keke, and all those kind of stuff. Where are they today? So they should leave us. Anyway, let's move on. Like, I think we are totally out of time. Let's just check this Nigerian Tribune out. Autumn to Buhari, declare Meti Allah as terrorist organization. Here we go again. Rejection of state police. You are working against interest. Will of Nigerians. MBF tells Buhari, Buhari's excuse for opposing state police holds no water at Debanjo. Nigerians will reject Buhari's preferred candidate, PDP. That story is in page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. Let's move over to the final paper for today.
This day says Buhari warns APC of consequences of disunity. Says corrupt defectors will not be spared. Declares no leader will foist leadership on ruling party. Admits age has taken its toll on him.
Yeah, I saw
Admits
that.
now age has taken its toll on him. PDP to president, just go. Nigerians don't want a successor from you.
Right.
Okay, all right.
I think that's all we can take for the paper. But then to just say this, that just said like age is taking a toll on our dear president. And I like the way you say now.
Age will definitely take its
all right,
toll.
guys. That's all for newspaper review. We'll move straight up to social media buzz. We'll go into the virtual street. To check out what's happening there.
What's happening? What are people talking about? What's the word on the street? What are we responding to?
Now, the thing is, there's so much that's happening.
So much.
There's so much happening.
We can't take everything, of course.
So, for example, hashtag Mommy Gio is trending, but then let's leave Mommy Gio now. Right now, this guy said, and he posted a picture of him crying. I don't know if he's the actual person, and this picture surfaced, and it says, I belong to the 95% that's Shike. It says, I belong to the 95% of the population that cannot swim and ride a bicycle.
Is it Chike the artist?
No, it's not. It's not
Chike the artist.
No, it's not Chike the artist.
Okay,
this is just at random Chike.
Okay.
oh, you want to teach him how to say? All right. So now, said I belong to the this one. No, now someone. So everybody's saying.
Responding. People are trying to say what they think.
El Gaza, a low sweeper says, I'm an expert rider, but I can't swim. I have phobia for swimming. Chichi, can
Many
you
people
swim?
do.
Can you?
I can swim with the help of.
Okay.
Believe Gabriel Isaiah says Indomie generation will definitely be the majority in this category. We used to ride bicycle to go and swim, and swim in the river. Once we didn't come back on time, Ken will welcome us back.
So that's like he learns the two at the same time. So he drives with it. Then Akuko's Blessing Blee says, when I managed to learn how to ride bicycle, if I enter road, see motor coming, I had to stop for them to pass before I'd continue. Fear not let me learn to ride it properly. Yeah.
Okay, I might not know how to swim, but at least I do know how to ride a bike. Last time I wanted to learn how to swim now so water I dey swallow. Ima the Stallion said that. Hilarious answers.
Yeah, so Celeste says those of us who can do both, Tirig Boza for us.
Can you?
No, I can ride the bicycle, but I cannot swim.
You cannot swim.
I go to the swimming pool, we just play there, but I can't really
do
the like going to the river to do. How about you?
I've told you now.
No,
with the age of I can do both. Like one is 100%, the other one is like okay.
Okay, that means we are the same.
All
right, guys, that's all we can take for social media buzz. Next week, definitely we'll have more time to spend time with you to go into the virtual streets. Right now, we'll be right back for the crux of the matter. Stay tuned. Arise Africa will be right back.
excited today. You know what? Because Mama Helen you.
I'm telling you.
We love people hugging us. So this helps the body to feel safe.
We are all leaders in our own right.
Who says you can't even find someone who will love you better?
Makes you focus, drives you. It shows you an agenda.
That's right.
Awesome! Mama Helen and You with Dr. Helen Jaffer, showing every day at 8:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. West African Time on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN.
Today it's going to be all about the Word of God.
Welcome to another episode of Soul Connect.
That you will set the captives free because the anointing is on you and you'll be a Holy Ghost troublemaker.
Because when you hear something and you say something and you'll do something, you'll receive something.
God can transition you to a place of influence and impact by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Join us and So Connect on the African Broadcasting Network, showing live every Thursday at 6 p.m. West African Time.
Welcome back to Arise Africa, and now we've come to the core of the matter. Usually the beginning of the year is a time when people want to make a change. Maybe not a full-blown change, but just to maybe add a little so that the output or the result for that year would be different. And one of the areas that is uppermost in most people's mind is finance. Now, financial management or financial planning is a very important part of companies, organizations, as well as individual lives. Well, today we're going to talk about personal financial planning, and with a little tilting towards investment, and that's because we know that this is a new year and we all want to manage our finances better. And to talk about this issue is a finance and investment advisor. He is Balubi A.B. Kelvin. It's good to have you on the program.
It's my pleasure.
Welcome.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
All right, so the question is, the topic we're talking about is personal financial planning, and particularly about investment. So we're going to start with what is personal financial planning? And I would like you to also quickly look at some aspects and activities in personal financial planning right after defining what the concept is.
Okay. Normally, we are just starting the year. And like you rightly said, people want to make decisions in resolution how they can live a better life in the new year. So when you put 2021 or 2020 in better perspective, it gives you a kind of understanding of the mistakes you make in 2021 and being able to correct them in 2022. Okay. And that is where personal financial planning comes in. Now, when you talk about financial planning, it talks about you giving you a roadmap.
Okay.
A roadmap on how you can arrange your finances in such a way that it will bring more income to your pocket at the end of the day.
Okay.
Now, the reason why a lot of people make mistake is that we don't plan. Even organizations, government itself plan. The budget you talk about is all financial planning. Because if you don't have a budget for your life financially, you are going to crash at the end of the day. So you putting a personal financial planning program in your life is to make you a better person financially, and at the end of the day you attract more income to yourself and being able to live a better life. In brief, I think that is what personal financial planning is all about. But we can go deeper than that. Probably we are looking at the time, but I'm just taking it from the surface to ensure that everybody need to do a personal financial plan because it gives you a better orientation on how to manage your finances so that you don't get into problem at the end of the day.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so now from what you've said now,
yes.
Let's now look into the investment angle of things now, because it's important that we know a lot of persons have made certain decisions like, oh, this year I'm going to do it better, I'm going to start better and all that, but then they go about it wrongly. And yet, so probably that's why we're advising this time that, okay, let's look at the investment. So I want you to now throw a light into this and then go in as well.
In the area of investment.
Yes.
Now, everybody want to invest, but even if you're going to do that, you need some bit of advice from people who are there before you. Now, what is investment? Is you dedicating your finances to goods and services that will in turn bring more profit to you. For instance, if you buy food, it's an expense, it is gone. But if you buy a property like land or building, you have this mindset that at the end of the day, this property will appreciate and bring more money into your pocket. That is investment. But often people direct their finances to wrong direction. When they buy a vehicle, they feel that is an asset. No, vehicle is just a necessity. The day you buy a vehicle, you start spending because you must ensure that you maintain it. So any good and services you put your money into that brings back money, we call it return on investment. That is investment. Now, if you remember in the year 2006 and 2007, that was when the stock market was upbeat. A lot of people bought stocks because today a lot of them are regretting because they do it wrongly. They didn't meet an expert to advise them to know the kind of companies they will invest in, areas they will put their money. So they did it wrongly, and at the end of the day, they did not expect the huge return they expected. It doesn't come that way. So a lot of people are discouraged. So if you want to do a good investment, you need an advisor to put you on the right perspective so that when you do it rightly, you are rest assured that at the end of the day, your investment is coming back to you in increased volume. That is the area I'm looking at it from.
Okay, so are there different, let's get to know.
Yeah.
You know, we are, do I say laymen when it comes to financial matters.
Yeah. Yes.
Are there, when you want to invest, what do you look out for? What are the different, I know you said a financial advisor should come into place, but not everybody can afford a financial advisor. And it depends on the level of investment you want to make as well. So what are the different categories of investment and what do you look out for if you want to invest?
Now, when you talk about investment, one of the things you look out for is the outlay of capital. Money is very important.
Okay, how much money you have?
How much money you have is very important. I'm going to explain a little bit of that. Then you also look at the risk element involved, because even life itself is risk. And I said it's even more riskier when you don't take risk. Now, if you talk about money is very important when you want to talk about investment. But there are areas you can invest with a little amount of money, because investment comes in different categories. For instance, if you want to talk about the areas of shares, with as small as 5,000, 10,000, you can start investing. Are you understanding me? So that does not mean that, oh, you must have 1 million, 2 million, 500,000 before you start investing. It depends on the capacity, the financial capacity you have. But with small as 10, 5, 15, 20,000, you can start investing for your tomorrow. That can give you number of shares in good companies and all of that. And now, if you want to go into stocks, you need a broker that will advise you. Because people who bought stocks 2006, 2007, they bought into wrong companies, and today most of those companies have gone. And that's why people are discouraged. But when you meet a professional who can advise you, you sit with him, he will advise you, you look at companies that have done well over the years, and when you put your money there, you can go to sleep and ensure that at the end of the day, your investment is very, very safe. Now, risk is also very important. They say the higher the risk, the higher the profit. But at whatever level you find yourself, you can take a risk that you can handle. And you can also minimize your risk when you talk with the experts who will advise you to know where you can put your money. So that even if there is a risk, it's going to be very minimal. Like in shares, prices appreciate, they also get low. Now, if you don't have that idea, so, oh, I bought this in 5 naira, it has gone to 3 naira. It's a temporal thing. as long as the company you bought into has a strong fundamental, the price will still appreciate and you make your money back at the end of the day. So these are the things, areas you look into. And outside shares, you talk about bond, talk about treasury bills, and even these local savings. They call it professionally mutual funds, which is a normal ususu that people do. Now you can do it passively and actively. Now the mutual fund is that where people pool funds together and they appoint a fund manager who can now redirect those funds into areas the money can bring in more interest to the individuals who contributed. That is actively. Now passively, you can, like the local one they do, people come together, they gather money at the end of the month, one person pick it. You don't even know what the person is using the money to do. Passively, the money is there. But if you really want to enjoy the mutual fund, it's where people gather funds together and they appoint a professional fund manager to manage the fund and employ these funds into areas like they can put it in bond, they can put it in the capital market where it can generate more funds for the investors.
Yeah.
At that point, it becomes something very important and you're happy because your money is coming back. Both your interest and your principal is coming back at the end of the day.
So in that case, that's more like a kind of, how will I put it, like a form of savings as well?
Yes,
that's
a savings.
Because I wanted to ask, what's your take on, is this just standing on saving totally or investing? Because most of the time, some person will tell you, oh, I'm afraid to go and do any investment, so let me just keep my money in the bank and all that. So,
Well,
so as a financial advisor, what would you say to such person?
Putting your money in the bank is good because in as much as I do not want to demarket any organization, putting your money in the bank is good. But at the end of the day, the money you even put in the bank are also trading with that money.
Yeah.
Because the interest they pay you is from what they generated from your principal. So if you have an opportunity to do it directly, you find out that you will gain more profit than what the bank is paying you. Are you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, for the savings, if you are afraid to take risk, you can remain with the level of savings. At least you are doing something for yourself. But it will be worse for you not to do anything at all. I was looking at the social media recently. One of the pastors said he was able to save about 1,950,000 by this local saving where he has to keep the money somewhere. And at the end of the year, he break the savings and started counting. He was able to make 1,950,000. It means it takes a lot of discipline and commitment for him to do that.
Yeah.
So averagely, monthly, the guy was able to save about 162,000. Then daily, he was saving about 5,000 something. So it takes a lot of discipline for you to get to that level. So savings and investment, they go together. But if you're going to do it right, you need a lot of discipline because once money comes into your hand, the tendency for you to spend it on impulse is there. But once you are disciplined, and that also comes from the area when you now talk to your financial advisor, it tells you where to employ your money to, then it becomes much easier. Because if you have access to money, you will spend it. But the moment you engage it, no matter the pressure, the money is gone. You are only thinking of the profit that will come to you at the end of the day. Now, when you start saying the profit, you are happy, you want to do it more. Because the more you do it, the more money you are making for yourself.
Yeah.
So either savings or investment, the bottom line is that you are making profit at the end of the day.
Awesome.
All right, so before we round off, because of time, I know you mentioned some challenges, with investment.
Yes.
So some challenges. One of them you mentioned was money. Money and, So I want you to talk about some more challenges and the solutions to them and how people can make better investments as a wrap-up for the show today.
Now, one of the challenges is that money is a major problem. But if you now say because there is no money, you're not going to invest, it's even going to be worse. Are you understanding me? So, in the midst of the little that you have, squeeze something out and save for your tomorrow. It's very important. Then, if you are going to go into maybe the area of investing in shares, you need to talk to your broker. It's not every company that is doing well. That is the truth.
Okay, the investment you're talking about, is it only when you talk about shares,
Really shares
bonds?
and all?
What
Yeah.
about people, other kinds of investments?
Yeah, like real estate and the rest.
Yeah, real estate needs a huge capital outlay.
Okay.
If you want to buy land in the remotest part of this state, you're talking about close to 300,000, 400,000. Are you understanding?
Yes.
Now, if you want to even go into buying of properties, you need good money for you to do that.
Yeah.
So not everybody can actually have that kind of money to go into real estate.
Okay.
Are you understanding? So that is where the challenges comes in.
Yeah.
But like why I kind of stay with the investment in area of shares, because with little money, you can buy stocks, you can buy shares, you can go into bond.
But
yes,
sir, I need to just, whilst you are answering this, are those things really viable right now? Because you just said that in time past, like 2006, a lot of persons got into it, and now most of these companies are not working anymore. So now a lot of persons now are just saying, I'm not sure I want to do this anymore.
Do that. Yes, because they have every right to be afraid. Because to be frank with you, people actually lost money when the market was upbeat in 2006, 2007, where we have a lot of public offer. They call it IPO, initial public offer, where companies are coming fresh to the market to sell their shares and all of that. So people started buying without proper advice. And at the end of the day, because those companies do not have a strong fundamental, those companies crashed. And you find out that people lose their money. Yeah. But if you talk to somebody who has been there, he will be able to direct you and guide you, and that will reduce your losses. For instance, First Bank.
Go on, sir.
For instance, First Bank has been there for over 100 years. Zenith Bank is doing well. GTB is doing well. Presco is an agricultural company doing well. Okomo Oil is there doing well. These are companies, I believe some of us, they gave birth to us, we met them, they are still there. So these are companies with strong fundamentals. The management is solid, they pay their dividend, they pay their profit at the end of the year to their shareholders, and people are happy. So at the end of the day, if you want to even want your principal back, you can sell the shares and get your principal, plus the interest you made over time. So you don't need huge capital to go into the investment of shares. Like treasury bills and bonds, you are like a lender to that corporate entity. They know that at the end of the duration of the maturity of that bond, they pay your principal and your interest, except you want to roll it over. So these are investment that you know that the risk is very, very minimal. You're not losing anything, so to speak. And that will also come in the place where you talk to a professional, an advisor who can tell you the areas to go in so that you can reduce your risk. Outside this area, there are a lot of other businesses one can do. You can go into buying and selling. Even that, there are risks, because if you don't time it well, you can go in at the wrong time and buy, and you may also lose money. So being able to scan your environment to know when to go in and when to come out is also very important. So when you do all of this, I think you'll become better in the year 2022, because people don't really know how to plan for the future.
Yes. All right, I think that's all we can take. And so thank you very much, sir, for this great lesson time, because it has really been a very big enlightenment for me. I'm really well educated today. All right, now that's all we can take for the show today. I'm saying thank you once again, Mr. Kelvin. AB. It's great to have you. Hopefully we'll get to see you next time.
It's all right. It's my pleasure.
That's all we can think. I am boy Mark Anthony. Chichi, any last one? All right, okay.
She's smiling.
All right, okay. All right, that's all we can think. Remember, Arise Africa is open for sponsorship, so do well to follow up Arise Africa. Reach out to us on all our social media platforms as well. All right, that's all we can take from the team and I am boy Mark Anthony, and Lady Chichi is also saying bye for now.
The storms of your life